In today's video, we're going to focus on the financial UA Step 2. We came to believe that our earning power greater than ourselves could restore us to prosperity. Specifically, we're going to focus on living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews. So if you're interested in working with a qualified temporary sponsor, even in this virtual setting, then I encourage you to get your Financial UA 12-step workbook, your Prosperity notebook, your Prosperity pen, and get all your resources in place because we're going to do some step work together. And I would also encourage you to subscribe to the Financial UA channel. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button below. I would also encourage you to click the notification bell down below. That way you'll be notified every time Financial UA posts a new video and you can be one of the first people to see it. So without any delay, let's start studying and exploring Financial UA Step 2 and let's start connecting with some earning power. Hey, welcome. My name is Jay in Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to welcome you to the Financial UA General Service Office. So come on in and grab a seat, and let's get this meeting started. As you do your step work in Financial UA, I want to continue to encourage you to always try to work with a qualified Financial UA sponsor. A qualified Financial UA sponsor has already worked the steps ahead of you under the guidance of a Financial UA sponsor. Nearly all qualified Financial UA sponsors lead step workshops or tradition workshops within the Financial UA program. And as you continue to do your step work, I would also encourage you to consider having an action partner or two, and to get regular PRGs or action meetings, whichever you prefer, and of course to consider joining a prosperity team. All of these resources are designed to help support you emotionally and spiritually, and also within fellowship, as you continue to do your step work in Financial UA. Before we move forward with exploring Step 2, living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews, I just want to encourage you to make sure that your previous step work is solid. If you have yet to work the step work around Step 0 and getting started, I would encourage you to click this link right here. If you haven't yet done the step work around Step 1, symptoms, I would encourage you to click right here. If you need to focus on Step 1, living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews, you can click right here. If you need to focus on Step 2, quest for power, you may click right here. Let's begin working on Step 2, living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews. So again, Step 2 reads, we came to believe that our earning power greater than ourselves could restore us to prosperity. The first assignment I'd like to offer to you is to ask you to write by hand in your Prosperity notebook Step 2 10 times. So please go ahead and do that. Hand write Step 2 10 times in your Prosperity notebook. And as you hand write this step, each of those 10 times, I would like for you to consider meditating on what Step 2 means to you. Once you finish this writing and meditation exercise on Step 2, I'd like for you to answer the question, what does Step 2 mean to you right now? When we do our step work, we always ask this question twice. What does this step mean to me right now? This is the first time we ask the question at the beginning of the step. Then at the conclusion of the step, we ask the question again. Because what always happens is each person who has made a commitment to work the steps, they undergo a spiritual transformation. They undergo a personal evolution going from the step from the beginning to the end, to the conclusion of that step. They go on a journey of transformation, and they have a spiritual experience at least once. Most of the time they have multiple spiritual experiences as they continue their journey through each and every step. So your response to the question, what does this step mean to me right now, as you write about it at the beginning of your process, is going to probably be quite different from how you respond to the question at the end of the process. Next, I'd like to encourage you to say a prayer, something along these lines. Higher power, please help me to bring step 2 to life. In some kind of way, help me to experience step 2 at a deeper level. Please help some new experiences to happen in my life. Please help some new situations unfold so that I can experience step 2 in a way that I've never have before. Please help me to have new experiences, new realizations, and new aha moments from engaging with step 2. And please guide me as I begin having a spiritual experience around this step. Once you say this prayer, or something similar to it, I would encourage you over the next couple days, pay close attention to the various things that happen over the course of your day or over the course of the next couple days. Take notes on anything unusual, anything interesting that happens. Write down any unusual aha moments or realizations, or even better, write down any spiritual experiences you have as a result of turning over that prayer to your higher power and living your life through the lens and through the perspective of step 2. Now, what will likely happen is as you engage step 2, you're going to be faced with situations where you will likely need to reach out to your higher power in the form of earning power, and you will ask your earning power, please help to restore me to prosperity, whatever that looks like. In other 12-step programs, let's say Alcoholics Anonymous, for example, step 2 says something like, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. What step 2 says in Alcoholics Anonymous is that members of Alcoholics Anonymous are insane, and they work step 2 in order to connect with a higher power greater than themselves. And through that connection with a higher power, they are restored to sanity, which means that before they were restored to sanity, they were insane. Now, this isn't to put down any alcoholics. Really, this is true of just about everybody in any 12-step program. If we are in a position where we need to do some step work, it's often because we're coming from a place where we were insane in some way, shape, or form. As we engage the steps, we are restored to sanity. Now, in financial UA, the specific type of insanity that we struggle with is the scarcity, deprivation, and poverty mindset, as well as our inability to connect with and channel earning power in a prosperous manner. Because we're broken in those specific ways, it makes us act and behave and feel as if we're crazy. If you ever doubt what your level of sanity was in your financial under-earning, simply ask yourself, what were the craziest things that you did while you were financially under-earning? Did you steal from others in order to have money? Did you embezzle? Did you eat food out of the trash? Did you live in substandard housing? Did you minimize and diminish your own life in order to live smaller and smaller and smaller? Did you give away your power? Did you subjugate yourself to others? All these are behaviors and patterns which really are quite crazy, quite insane, emotionally and spiritually. And all of these behaviors communicate that a person is coming from a place where they are diminished in terms of their ability to channel their power, specifically their earning power. But then what happens is once we connect with an earning power greater than ourselves, it begins to restore us to prosperity. As the earning power flows through us, once we connect with it, we find we can live at a much higher level of functioning, at a much higher level of self-care, and we're able to make better decisions and exercise better judgment, which doesn't lead us down the path of horrific consequences. Instead, we start making decisions and exercising good judgment that leads us in the direction of prosperity, in greater savings, wealth, better income. We start moving in the direction of elevated levels of self-care. We take better care of ourselves. We make better decisions which take care of our present self as well as our future self. We live a life that is abundant and prosperous. And that is what prosperity looks like. That is what sanity looks like in Financial UA. Now it's time for our 7th tradition. Every Financial UA meeting ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. There are no dues or fees for Financial UA membership. All of our meetings and workshops are completely free to attend, both over the phone and face-to-face. Please keep in mind that we do have expenses, such as covering the cost of our website, developing new literature, and maintaining our service office. If you would like to make a 7th Tradition donation, you can click the PayPal link below, or visit our website at financialua.org and click the Donate button. You may also support this program by purchasing a copy of our Financial UA 12-Step Workbook or our Financial UA 12 Traditions Workbook. Also, you can help us carry the message by subscribing to this channel, and even by sharing this video with your sponsor or your sponsee. Lastly, please consider clicking that like button and giving us a big thumbs up for service. There's a funny saying in 12-step programs. The saying is, we're all here because we're not all there. The thing is, in recovery programs, we're not bad people trying to become good. We're sick people trying to become well. And through the process of step 2, we move from a place of behaving in a way that's insane, a way that is self-destructive, a way that is self-diminishing. We move towards prosperity, abundance, well-being, healthy self-care, and autonomy. This is what step 2 does for us when we work it. It helps us to evolve and transform from one type of mentality to another. Step 2 also holds the secret to overcoming fear. It also explains why addicts have so much fear, anxiety, and phobias. The reason why we have these things is because we're disconnected from a higher power. The less higher power we are connected with, the more fear, anxiety, and phobia we have. But when we start connecting with and channeling higher power or earning power, and that power gets greater, the fear, anxiety, and phobia gets less. So it works in opposite directions to each other. The more higher power we have, the less fear we have. The less higher power we have, the more fear we have. So if you ever find in your process, in your day-to-day life, if you're really struggling with a lot of fear, anxiety, or phobias, it's probably because you are having difficulty connecting with and channeling your higher power in whatever form you call your higher power. Whether you call it God, or higher power, or Tinky Winky. I knew a fellow who used to call his higher power Tinky Winky. Or even Gomu. Here's a funny story. One fellow I know calls his higher power Gomu. G-O-M-U. It's short for God of my understanding. So you can call your higher power whatever you want, as long as it works for you. And one really good way to find out if your higher power is working for you is to invite it into your process, so that the more higher power is flowing in, pay attention, how much fear, anxiety, and phobia do you have? With the flow of higher power coming in, does your fear, anxiety, and phobia decrease, or does it stay the same? That is a really good way to tell if your higher power is effective. If it's not effective, you might just consider trading your higher power in for a new higher power, one that can work for you, one specifically that can help to restore you to sanity, and especially in financial UA, that it could restore you to prosperity. The next assignment I'd like you to consider is to interview 10 members in program who have already completed Step 2. The qualifications for the people you interview are that they have experience with working Step 2, so they need to be in recovery, and ideally they also are prosperous. Because if you'd like to learn how to recover around prosperity, it makes sense to interview people who have recovery and prosperity, because we can only teach what we know, and the goal of your interviews are to find people who can teach you what they know, so you can learn their best practices, to learn and understand their aha moments, to absorb the wisdom that they have accumulated, and most importantly, to receive and hold their experience, strength, and hope, so that you may take what you like and leave the rest. Some gentle suggestions are to consider checking out Alcoholics Anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, or Financial Underearners Anonymous. You may interview your sponsor in Financial UA, and you may also interview other members of Financial UA that you admire and respect. I would also encourage you to ask your spirit to guide you to the right people for you to interview. The people who can share with you their experience, strength, and hope in just the right way for you to hear it and receive it. Not everybody in recovery has a story that is going to be of benefit to you. The best way to find the right people for you to interview is always to invite your higher power into the process and ask your spirit to help guide you and direct you to the specific people who can best share with you in a manner that you can best hear and receive. You may also consider the strategy of finding one qualified person to interview, and then at the conclusion of the interview, ask that one qualified person to introduce you to 2 other qualified people in recovery, people who have done the steps and they're prosperous. Once you finish interviewing these 2 qualified people in recovery, ask each one of them to introduce you to 2 qualified other people in recovery. So you may have started with one person who introduces you to 2 more, and then those 2 people will introduce you to a total of 4 people. And then you can ask each one of those people to introduce you to 2 more people. So you end up having an incredibly large network of people who are qualified, who all come highly recommended within recovery. And this is called spiritual networking. While you're conducting your 10 interviews, I want to encourage you to take notes on everything that you learn, specifically the aha moments, the realizations you have, those special tidbits of golden nuggets of wisdom that people share with you. And again, you take what you like and leave the rest. But for those portions that you take, those things that you hear that have a lot of value and meaning to you, please write those down in your prosperity notebook. That way you'll remember all this wisdom, all these practical best actions and best practices that you'll be able to incorporate into your own recovery process. And as time goes by, when you're ready to turn these interviews over to your sponsor, you can teach your sponsor based on what you learned from the people you interviewed. So in this way, everybody learns and everybody teaches. And you can keep the chain of recovery moving along because you become a channel of learning and teaching, of sharing spiritual experiences Just as the people you interview shared with you, you then can share with your sponsor, as well as sharing inside of any Financial UA meeting or workshop. Because in the meetings and workshops, there are many people who can benefit from learning what you have learned, and you have the opportunity to share those things. Some common questions you can ask of the people you interview are: how long have you been in recovery? What programs do you work? What does your prosperity look like? Have you worked step 2? What does the word "we" mean in step 2? What does it mean came to believe? What does it mean that an earning power greater than ourselves could restore us to prosperity? What you can do is take this step and break it down into small pieces and ask the people you interview if they have spiritual insight into each one of those smaller pieces of the step. You may also ask, what is earning power? And what is your definition or personal understanding of earning power? You may ask, how is your definition of earning power different from your understanding of higher power, or are they the same? You may ask, can an earning power be greater than myself? You may ask, what kind of power did you search for before, and did it work for you? You may ask, what was it like to be restored to prosperity? You may ask, if a person connects with earning power, will it restore their prosperity? And you may also ask, is this an individual experience or is it a group experience? If you really enjoyed the interview that you did with any particular person, the chances are going to be really good that they're going to introduce you to somebody else that will give you a really good interview. After you conclude your 10 interviews, I would encourage you to answer each one of those questions that you posed to the person you interviewed. It's your turn to answer those questions. In fact, you may consider interviewing yourself, and you will be interview number 11. So you ask yourself the same questions that you would ask of anybody else you interview, and let's see how would you respond to those questions. Once you answer each of those questions, the final question is, what is your personal truth? Next, I'd like to give you an imagination exercise. I want you to imagine what would it look like if you were restored to prosperity. What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would your day look like? How would you dress? What would you eat? Where would you live? Would you drive to work? What kind of job would you have? How would you entertain yourself throughout the day? What kind of friends or associates might you surround yourself with? Who would you date or be in partnership with? Or would you be alone? How would your day unfold? How would you spend your evenings? And what would it be like when you went to sleep at night? How would you feel on the inside if you went to sleep at night knowing that you were prosperous and that your flow and connection to earning power was abundant and prosperous? Write your responses to these questions down in your notebook. Also, write down anything that helps you to remember that image and that feeling. Write that down as best as you can describe it, so that the next time you read your description, it puts you back in touch with that feeling and that imagination of prosperity. At this point, I'd like you to read over the Vision Boards page on the Financial UA website. You can find the page on Vision Boards on our financialua.org website. If you hover over the link where it says Tools of Financial UA, you'll see a drop-down menu that shows the 12 recovery tools and the 5 prosperity tools. If you hover over where it says the 5 prosperity tools, you'll see another drop-down menu, and on that menu, you'll see Vision Board. I want you to click that link and read over the Vision Board page. On the Visions Board page, there are also images of other members of Financial UA who have constructed vision boards and submitted it to the program, and we were able to post it on the website so you can see all the different types of vision boards there are. If you wish, once you finish and construct your vision board, you may send an image of it to the Financial UA General Service Office and we can post it on the website. That way, the fellowship as a whole can receive your vision and hold it in this space of prosperity and abundance. And all of the other members, when they check out this page and see the vision boards, they can put their positive energy on your vision as well as all the visions of the other members to help energize those visions. Allow your vision board to communicate what prosperity and abundance looks like for you. There's no wrong way to construct a vision board. This is an opportunity as you connect with your earning power, as you invite your earning power to flow through you. It's an opportunity to discover what prosperity can look like for you as your earning power flows through you and attracts you and draws to you images and words that really describe and conceptualize what prosperity can look like and feel like for you. Be sure to discuss all the actions you've taken so far throughout this step, step 2. Share about them with your sponsor. Share about all these actions in Financial UA meetings and workshops. That way other people can learn from your experiences. It's important as you experience something to talk about it before, during, and after. That's called processing. Oftentimes people, when they don't process an experience, they don't get the full benefit of it. And that's also called process skipping, where people jump over parts of the process. So throughout this step work, I'm going to teach you how to process your thoughts, feelings, and the new things you learn, as well as to process your spiritual experiences. And the way you process is to talk about what you're going to do, talk about what you are doing, and then talk about what you finished doing. And to talk about that experience all the way through the process. That way you remain engaged with the process all the way through, and you're able to remain present with the process all the way through. Finally, I want to ask you, how will you reward yourself for all of these positive actions that you've taken around step 2, living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews? How are you going to reward yourself and treat yourself to a positive experience to acknowledge and validate all of the positive actions you've taken? How can you celebrate the successful completion of your step 2? Once you give yourself your step 2 reward, I would encourage you to write about your reward and also to share about your reward with your sponsor and also within any Financial UA meetings or workshops. That way, the rest of the fellowship can learn from you and they can learn about the process of rewards and how you reward yourself for taking positive actions. Now's the time for sharing. Who'd like to take a share? In the comments section below, please share your experience, strength, and hope around what it was like to work step 2. What was it like to bring the step to life? How did the step come to life for you? What was it like to interview 10 people in recovery? And what did you learn? Again, it's perfectly fine to keep the details about each specific person you interviewed anonymous. This is more about sharing the realizations, the spiritual awakenings, and the aha moments that you had through the process of doing your interviews. Would you like to share about those? Please share in the comment section below. And as you share, you may also consider leaving a positive, non-offensive comment or question. You may also ask for us to make new videos around topics that you would like to see moving forward. So if you'd like to request a video or a topic, or to ask a question, or even to share your experience, strength, and hope around working step 2, living the step, bringing the step to life, and doing interviews, you are most welcome to do that in the comments space below. And once you finish taking your share, I would encourage you to consider clicking the subscribe button. That way you'll receive videos from Financial UA on a regular basis. And you may also click the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time Financial UA posts a new video, and you can be one of the first people to see it. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider giving us a big thumbs up for service. As we move towards closure, please visit us at www.financialua.org or email us at financialua@gmail.com. Let's close with our prosperity prayer. God, grant us a serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity to afford it. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and helping us to create and hold this space for healing and recovery. Please help us carry the message by subscribing to our channel and maybe sharing this video with others. And most important, keep coming back. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.
God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity